All right, don't let me stop you, Brock. You were about to give us the
Yep.
17th pick in the
Yep.
defensive draft.
And it's going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of reach by many standards, but hear me out and let me plead my case. First off, how about a Hall of Famer Levante David coming back to
Yep.
play some linebacker? If he is at the center of your defense, you have a shot. How about potential Hall of Famer Vita Vea right there in the center of your defense? No gloves, no
Yeah, I'm
undershirt,
glad you
just,
said it. I'm
just,
glad
just
you said it.
skin. Just skin. Just a big guy out there with skin showing. I
He's a
love to
sicko.
see it. Disruptors. That's that's what Tampa Bay is, a bunch of disruptors. How about Antoine Winfield, a positionless guy, all 5'9" of them, grew up in the NFL, knows exactly where to be. He can cover, he can get sacks. He always leads the NFL in sacks from a DB. He can do it all. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And an important thing, they drafted 2 cornerbacks. I want you guys to watch out for one of them, especially Benji Morrison. There were some injury concerns coming out of Notre Dame. That's why he slipped. The highest ceiling of all the rookie cornerbacks. He will see the field and he will do phenomenal things. Todd Bowles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I love that. And overall, I just love this Buccaneers team. I just feel like year in, year out, they prove people wrong. They're overlooked offensively and defensively, and they continue to show up and play well. I am going to take a group that I think is, man, oh man, this could really be bad for me. This could be bad for me, but it could also be great. I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers.
Ooh.
Now, they lost a lot of juice. They lost a lot of juice, okay? But they also imported a lot of juice, all right? They've got a new coach there in the building on the defensive side of the football. 4 years ago, this guy left his office in Santa Clara. His name is Robert Saleh, okay? And Robert Saleh don't play. I think you understand that. Now, Nick Bosa doesn't play either, and that's actually a problem for the San Francisco 49ers. They need him to play if they're going to have success. Maybe talk a little bit about the pieces that left the building, some of the guys they filled in with. Obviously, Talanoa Hufanga, you discussed earlier. Charvarius Ward, I'm not sure if we've talked about him. But they drafted, they reloaded, and we're going to get introduced to some new guys in San Francisco.
Yeah, we are. They lose Leonard Floyd. They lose Javon Hargrave. They lose Drake Greenlaw to Denver. But at the end of the day, you have Nick Bosa.
None of these guys were healthy.
None of them. You're right. And they still have Nick Bosa. You still have Fred Warner, best off-ball linebacker in the NFL. You still have Diamador Lenore. And they add Justin Pinnock from the New York Giants, who, whether it's nickel, whether it's safety, he'll find a way to the field. A reach, but if we look back and say San Francisco turned some heads and didn't come last place in the NFC West like everybody's saying, I'm going to point to you and say you called it first.
I'm just saying they know how to play defense, okay? And there's some guys getting new opportunities in there. Fresh blood is often the better blood.
Well, if we're rolling the dice, let me roll the dice on the New England Patriots, because if this thing comes together, if this defense comes together, it's going to be something special. I feel New England is best equipped to push Buffalo out of that AFC East crown. I understand what New England looked like last year, but New England's going to run the ball and they're going to play some dang good defense, and they're best equipped to keep the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. The Patriots had my favorite offseason. They really did. They win the Milton Williams sweepstakes. They bring in Harold Landry. They bring in Carlton Davis. They bring in depth guys like Kayvon Chaisson, 5 sacks a year ago. There's really no weakness to this Patriots defense, and that's what's special. Do they have the best linebacker unit, the best DB unit? Probably not, but there's no weakness, and that is how you start building something. Harold Landry has been one of the most consistent edges in all of the league, and if they can remain healthy, Carlton Davis on one side, young Christian Gonzalez on the other side, Kyle Duggar back there. Good luck passing on this team. Give me the New England Patriots. And new defensive coordinator, Terrell Williams.
Mike Vrabel is going to make an immediate impact on that culture, on that locker room, in the same way that Jim Harbaugh's Chargers hit the ground running in Los Angeles last year. I really believe that. You talk to guys who have played for Vrabel. They all respect him. They all get juiced up when they talk about him. And with the people that he brought into the building, that team got real juice in terms of talent. They've got the quarterback. They've got some defensive studs right now. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And you know who else has a quarterback and has some defensive studs? The Chicago Bears.
Okay. I was waiting for it.
Bears, and this, me on any other day, I probably would have jumped and got him at 14, but I got him at 20 here. Now, you got to keep in mind everything that transpired last year. Usually for these teams, I look at total defense last year, their ability to stop the run, their third down percentage, things of that nature. But I threw out the baby with the bathwater. Is that what they say? As it pertains
yes.
to this stat. I've never used that phrase, and I just did, and I hope I used it right because it involves throwing babies out.
You did.
That's terrible. That's not the point. Is that the Chicago Bears had a lot of distractions last year. This year, they go. Dennis Allen, defensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, the offense will be dialed in. There will be no more questions about leadership on the offensive side of the ball. That's handled. And on the defensive side of the ball, they need to get stuff out of their big-time guys. When I think about this group, I start from the back to the front because I really like their back end. And you can talk about some of these coverage guys, coverage elements. Jalen Johnson, fantastic. All-pro level player. Tyreek Stevenson, obviously people know him from the boneheaded stuff, but he's going to have the opportunity to solidify himself as a real player. Kyler Gordon, great player, a lot of versatility. Kevin Byard, and then you've got Jaquan Brisker. Now, Jaquan Brisker might be the most fun guy to watch play in the entire defense, but the issue is he's so much fun that he hits his head so damn hard. Games. I love watching Jaquan Brisker play. I respect this guy, but man, oh man, got to find a way to stay on the field. When he's on the field, they can be so multiple. They can pressure you so many different ways. This secondary gets a lot of sacks. This is what I like about this group. And with Dennis Allen, you're probably going to see more of the same. Grady Jarrett, Deo Adengbo in the building. I need Grady Jarrett to be healthy because if he's healthy, this is a really good group. And Montez Sweat, I need to see big-time sack numbers. The numbers that were paid for, I need to see because the linebacker core is Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards. That's a really good unit. So you're looking at a good back end, a solid middle. I need the front end to step up.
Jaquan Brisker, Penn State safety. If you draft a safety from Penn State, they are just a game wrecker. He just wrecks himself, like you mentioned too often. If he can stay healthy and ball out, he'll have a nice payday by the end of the year. And as for that linebacker room, look for rookie Ruben Hippolyte out of Maryland to round out that starting linebacker unit. Let's go to the AFC, and let's go with the Indianapolis Colts. I said Matt Eberflus is going to rectify some things and clean up his name. So is Lou Anarumo. Hot name for a hot defense in Cincinnati, and then the wheels have fallen off. He has some new threads, and he's wearing the Indianapolis Colts blue. The first thing they did was sign Cam Bynum. We mentioned that with Minnesota, how Minnesota's going to miss Cam Bynum. Cam Bynum is going to prove that he can play safety in a traditional system. Of course, Brian Flores, that 3-safety chaotic amoeba. Cam Bynum has the skill set to prove that he can play in a standard defense. How about signing Charvarius Ward from San Francisco? Charvarius Ward needed a fresh start, and Indianapolis is going to be perfect for him. And the young D-line is the main reason I'm taking this. In Leatu Latu, Samson Ebukam, and then more established guys like Kwity Paye and DeForest Buckner, rookie JT Tuimoloau, and of course the tackling machine at linebacker Zaire Franklin. Give me the Indianapolis Colts.
You're really making them sound, and I mean they are better than than people think because they've got a lot of studs up there on the front in the front seven in particular. One group that really bolstered their front seven in particular were the Arizona Cardinals. Now, this was kind of a middle-of-the-pack team last year in terms of defense, but you could see some clear opportunities to improve, and they addressed those this offseason. They bring in Josh Sweat. They got Walter Nolan from Ole Miss at number 16, and then 6 of their 7 picks, Brock, were on the defensive side of the ball. They're really banking on that offense changing gears, dropping it into a higher gear, lower gear, whatever whatever they do with gears. They want their offense to play better. And they said, we're just going to invest in the defense and let the offense continue to develop. I like this group. I really do. When you got a group that can score points like the Cardinals, you have the opportunity to get after people at the line of scrimmage.
I like it. And while there is no defense that will be more dependent upon the success of their rookies. Like you mentioned, almost their entire draft was defensive guys. I'm always going to show love to defensive coordinator Nick Rallis, and it has nothing to do with the fact that we played in college together. So go Arizona. Okay, we're looking for some value here, and Kyle,
I got one. Don't take it. Don't take it.
Kyle, I'm
Don't
sorry, man. You know who I'm taking because you mentioned them earlier. You had your chance. You passed them up. Please forgive me. I'm taking the New York Giants. I'm sorry. I'm taking the New York Giants, and it's all because of one name, and that name is Abdul Carter. You have Dexter Lawrence. Sexy Dexy is maybe the most underappreciated defensive lineman in the NFL, up there with Jeffrey Simmons, right? When you have your hand in the ground, when you're not the one who gets all the sacks, you get overlooked. As long as he is there, they're gonna have a shot. You have Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, and Brian Burns as a 3-man rotation. What are you supposed to do? Good luck. Any offensive tackle. They also had a sneaky move, snagging Javon Holland away from Miami. Yes. Javon Holland, true playmaker, sideline to sideline guy. Nothing gets behind him. Give me the New York Giants, Kyle. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
You know what? I love that pick. And you know I'm a sucker for a group that really gets after the pass rusher. And this group is going to get after the pass rusher. I know it's OTAs. I know it's minicamp. I know it's, late spring, early summer. But I've seen some clips coming out of New York.
Scary.
You saw the clips?
Yes.
Bro, Russell Wilson is getting bounced around like a 1987 pinball in mesh shorts. And he's got 4 first-round picks bearing down on him. These offensive linemen are saying they're Hail Marys. They're trying to make it happen, but it's just not happening for the offensive line in New York right now. The defensive line is going to ruin practice time and time again. Okay, so the Giants are off the board. Let me get the Giants off the board.
Sorry.
Delete. Okay. This is where it gets interesting, okay? We are at the 24th pick, and now it's just kind of like more of an opinion piece here.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start throwing darts. I'm going to say who I trust the most. Okay, my 23 team, not good, definitely not good. Give me the Miami Dolphins at 23 or 24. Give me the Miami Dolphins just because the 5 teams that I have right below them that I could also pick, I don't trust them either. Now, we're going to talk about the Falcons. They addressed some things. Bengals got new leadership on defense, but they don't have Trey Hendrickson signed. The Raiders have Max Crosby. That's awesome. Can we do other stuff? They help the offense a lot this offseason. The Commanders, can you repeat the Disney movie twice? I just don't know if you can. Falcons couldn't get after the quarterback. I'm going to go with the Dolphins because they can get after the quarterback when they're healthy. And that's really the only explanation I'll give you. And I know that Jalen Ramsey wants out.
Yeah.
But, just go sack the quarterback, and the DBs don't matter.
I mean, in regards to Zach Sealer and rookie Kenneth Grant, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Chop Robinson had a great rookie year. It's just a matter of health, but they can rush the passer. Jalen Ramsey's gone. Hurts. Javon Holland leaving hurts, but they signed Ifeatu Melifonwu from Detroit to fill in for that safety spot. Miami Dolphins. Well said. I'm going to pick a team that you had mentioned, and they can't stop the run for anything, but give me the Washington Commanders. Defensive coordinator Joe Witt Jr. on a Dan Quinn team. Yeah, I'll take it. They released Jonathan Allen. They re-signed Bobby Wagner, Hall of Fame Bobby Wagner. The guy's going to play until he's 50 years old and get 100 tackles every single year. This D-line is better than they showed. The numbers do not back up how good Dorrance Armstrong is, how good Deron Payne is, how good Javon Kinlaw is, who's over there now. Dietrich Wise Jr., Cleveland Farrell, Johnny Newton, Eddie Goldman. There are names who you're just waiting for them to crack through that ceiling that's above them. And if they can, it'll help out those linebackers that certainly cannot stop the run. It also comes down to Marshawn Lattimore being healthy. Everyone was side-eyeing that trade because he wasn't healthy at the time. If he can be healthy, look, there's a lot of ifs with Washington, but if the ifs become true, I'm fine with Washington here.
I mean, with Dan Quinn, anything is possible. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter who's on the field. They're just going to go out and compete and play sound football. And we saw that last year. Granted, they do have some really good players, particularly on the second level. We saw a lot of their AA mug packages come to fruition last year, and they got home a lot. I'm going to go with a group. I'm going to go with a group. I'll tell you that much. I'm going to go with a group. I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons.
Oof. Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons, who made some changes to the trim and some molding in their defensive room. Okay, it's kind of a new look, but there's
is changes to the trim a phrase, or did you just make it up? Because I like that.
I just came up with it.
That's good. That's got legs. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, like the rooms are still the same dimensions.
I like that. I like that a lot. Okay.
Still got couches where the couches were. But, the crown molding, we added some crown molding. We painted the window.
Spruced it up a little bit. I like it.
Spruced it up. The Atlanta Falcons, obviously on the back end, Jesse Bates III, AJ Terrell, fantastic football players. You're going to need to get a lot out of the players you bargained for this offseason on the defensive front. And your draft stuff's going to have to come to fruition as well. But with the uptick in offense that I think is going to happen with Michael Penix Jr., you're going to get the opportunity to kind of have the game plan be in your court. You're not going to be playing on the defensive side of defense. You're going to be a little bit more offensive. I like this group.
Okay. And I like both rookies that I'm expecting to make a big impact there. Jalen Walker, who for some reason they let wear number 11, which is insane.
Yep.
Now you can't retire Julio Jones's number. Okay, whatever.
Yep. That's it should be criminal.
It should be. And Xavier Watts, safety out of Notre Dame. Expect him to see the field in an open safety spot next to Jesse Bates. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars. New defensive coordinator, Anthony Campanelli. Look, Jacksonville's feet are to the fire. Not that anyone's getting fired in their first year, just in a matter of, hey, this fan base expects success now, because they showed how good they could be when everything is aligned. This isn't some, hey, go out there and win 3 games, then it'll be fine. No, there is an expectation regardless of how badly the train kind of fell off the tracks. Travis Hunter, he's going to be out there probably on 3rd downs to start the season. And then as the season goes on, he's good enough to have a starting spot back there. Going to be exciting to watch him. Going to be exciting to watch defensive end Josh Hines-Allen. 8 sacks after a 17.5 sack season. That's a pretty big drop off. See if he can get back to form. And how about my favorite player, Foye Oluokun, 100 or more tackles in the past 5 seasons. The pieces are there. We'll see if defensive coordinator Anthony Campanelli can put them together.
I like that. And I feel like that whole team's going to have a boon this year with the new staff and obviously the superstar from Colorado on the offensive side of the ball. How are they going to use him? Are they going to use him on both sides? I'm going to name a team that probably wishes they could use one of their guys on both sides of the ball, and maybe both sides of the defensive line. That's Max Crosby and the Las Vegas Raiders. Okay, I've got them here at 28. Look, this Raiders team has the opportunity to change their identity because of the fresh blood they have. I say new blood, but it's a 75-year-old man in Pete Carroll. He's essentially like a young man. He comes in, he brings great energy. You know that the culture is going to be right in Las Vegas, and that's one thing that's always in question with the Raiders. They've got the culture right. They've got a quarterback now. Fans actually have a guy they can say, we're going to get our quarterback's jersey instead of having to buy 4 Velcro jerseys with different names and numbers so you can change it up every week. They have that. They've got Chip Kelly on the offensive side of the ball. They're going to score points. Finally, this Raiders team is going to have some juice offensively. Well, that lends itself to getting after the quarterback. I've said that at a few stops in this show today about defensive fronts and how they pair with their offenses. Well, look, if the Raiders sucked on offense, the defense wouldn't be as good. But now you get a guy like Max Crosby, a guy like Christian Wilkins, the opportunity to go win in a passing down. I like that. And, I can't really say I like it too much because they're at 28 here, but I got the Raiders.
Yeah. And let's remember, Christian Wilkins was injured most of last year. If he can remain healthy, that takes pressure off of Crosby. Linebacker room's kind of a piecemeal, right?
They lost Spillane.
They lost Spillane, who I love, who I somehow didn't even mention when I was talking about the Patriots.
The most valuable guy ever.
Oh, another incredible off-ball linebacker. They're going to replace him with Jermaine Pratt, who got cut from Cincinnati. They got Landon Roberts. Second-year Tommy Eichenberg. We'll see what can happen with Vegas. go over to Nashville. How about the Tennessee Titans? Look, they lose Mike Vrabel. They lose Harold Landry. They had a disappointing year. They're going to have a rookie quarterback who's throwing to a couple of guys, I guess, if you will. They're going to be on the field a lot. But here's why I'm taking them. A defensive front of Sebastian Joseph Day, Devondre Sweat, and Jeffrey Simmons. Cal, there are some teams that are playoff caliber that would kill for that trio. Yep. And if you have that up front, you have a shot. Last note on them, look out for rookie Kevin Winston Jr., safety out of Penn State. Like we talked about with Jaquan Brisker, you always draft a safety out of Penn State. Do it every single year. Kevin Winston Jr. is a true ball hawk, the closest thing to Tyrann Mathieu since Tyrann Mathieu. Outside of Antoine Winfield Jr. Antoine Winfield Jr. is the closest thing to Tyrann Mathieu, but then it'll be Kevin Winston Jr. So give me Tennessee here.
I like that. And you talked about the group that a lot of teams would die for, and I truly believe that. And I think that if you have a front like that, you can go win a lot of games just with that group. I'm going to be going with a team that has no option but to get better. And I wrote in the wrong team here in my doc, but it is the Cincinnati Bengals.
Whoa.
Okay.
Oh,
they've got no choice but to play better defense. And here's the problem. We can all agree on this. We love Lou Anarumo. I was there in Kansas City when he had answers to the test for the Kansas City Chiefs, and one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play, Patrick Mahomes. But that wasn't the reason we lost. We lost because we couldn't stop Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow.
Sure.
That being said, nobody can stop them still. And if this defense can just wake up and open their eyes, they should be hopefully not at the bottom of the barrel. Give me the Bengals. They will get a little bit better defensively, and Trey Hendrickson will be on the field week 1.
Here's why I hate the Bengals and why I root for Joe Burrow's sake. I root that this organization is sold to the highest bidder. It's like they don't want an NFL team.
Yeah.
So your defense takes a historical leap backwards last year. And instead of taking care of your phenomenal defensive end and your rookie defensive end first round, who's just asking you to give him what you gave the other first round guys in recent years. So now both of your starting defensive ends aren't there after the worst year defensively that you've. It's like I want to sit down the family and just say, you don't have to own an NFL team if you don't want to. Like no one's. It's
sell it and invest it, and it'll be worth even more.
Dude,
if you like being rich, you could be richer, and the Bengals would be good.
You ever go to somebody's birthday party and they're just complaining, it's too hot outside, it's too cold inside, I don't like this food. Like, dude, go home. I don't think you want to be here. I don't know if the Bengals ownership wants to even be here. I cannot stand it, and it's so unfair to Joe Burrow and that offense that deserves a whole lot more than they're getting. Woo. Okay, we're down to the last two.
They're vampire energy.
Perfectly said, sir. Perfectly said. Okay, so we're down to the last two. NFC South, not a shocker. Give me the Carolina Panthers. And I guess we can just go ahead and talk about both of these at the same time, because it's more I'm more so not picking the Saints than I am picking the Panthers. So Brandon Staley is the new defensive coordinator for the Saints. He likes to run a lot of 3-4. It's a 3-4-4-3 hybrid. But the Saints currently have 4-3 personnel. And I'm always side-eyeing when you have guys like Cam Jordan who have their hand in the dirt as a 40 front defensive end. Now has to kind of play stand-up linebacker. It's
a guy with like 100 sacks in the NFL is being asked to go.
It's weird, man. It's clunky, and I don't believe they're good enough on the back end to help that out. They cashed out Chase Young. I'm always going to root for a guy getting paid, but it kind of turned my head a little bit. You have Demario Davis. You add Justin Reed back there with Tyrann Mathieu. They have guys that can make plays, but I can't get over going from 4-3 to 3-4. Carolina Panthers, they cashed out J.C. Horn, made him the highest paid corner at the time, and sure, I will never not root for a guy getting paid, but for a guy, I have it here in through 4 seasons, JC Horn has only played in 37 games and has had 5 interceptions. He just can't stay healthy. Now, maybe in practice they're seeing things that we haven't seen yet. Sure. A lot of question marks. Final thing, 2 rookies to watch for Carolina. Outside linebacker Nick Scorton out of A&M, but spent most of his time at Purdue, where he was a menace for every Big Ten team.
He's really strong.
He's a monster. And rookie safety Lathan Ransom out of Ohio State. True headhunter, old school safety. Look for both of those guys. But I'm taking Carolina, which leaves you the Saints.
Okay, so if I'm going to talk about the Saints, I'll say this. And there was a really well put monologue about the philosophy in terms of what your scheme is versus who your team is. And I think it's telling of the New Orleans Saints of the direction they're going to go. Obviously, people have them pitted to be the number 1 pick in next year's NFL draft. I think that this year, regardless of who is on the roster, regardless of what their strengths or weaknesses are, Kellen Moore and this defense with Brendan Staley on the defensive side of the ball, they're going to say, these are the things we're doing. We're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. We're going to figure out and address our issues moving forward. I think this is kind of like, I hate to say it, this is a leap year for the New Orleans Saints. That's why we find him at 32nd. In defense. That's why we find him with probably a bridge quarterback this year that'll lead to the number 1 pick next year.